And now, with the Howard Hughes Corporation, we're going to talk to Lorrie Parise, back on the show from a few months ago. She's the Director of PR and Community Relations. Lorrie, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Well, now we have even more to talk about. It seems like you were on about a month and a half ago or so. People love the Howard Hughes Corporation. And let's tell people, first of all, your corporate office is?
Our corporate office is actually relocating to the Woodlands.
So there you go. That is just a tremendous spot and also a very, very active real estate market. But one of the things, like a lot of corporations, and maybe not all, but the Howard Hughes Company, you have something called Howard Hughes Cares, Howard Hughes Corporation Cares. So let's tell people, first of all, what that is, and we're going to get into a specific initiative that you're doing.
Yes, great. Thank you. So it's called HH Cares, which, like you said, it stands for the Howard Hughes Corporation Cares, and we strongly believe in that. We're an active philanthropist, and we donate annually to about 130 causes through nonprofit organizations in and around Bridgeland, the Woodlands, and the Woodlands Hills. And of course, we also donate to other nonprofit organizations where many of our offices are located. We give our full-time employees 24 work hours every year to volunteer in the local community. And right now in our Houston offices, we have employees that serve on nearly 80 boards and committees.
Well, we've heard Heath talk about the Fall Giving Campaign, which is in effect right now. But let's tell people the Fall Giving Campaign as far as the participants. Let's get into a little bit of who they are. And I think there's, 5 of them?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we're really excited about this Fall Giving Campaign. It actually runs in September. And what we do is for every home sold in Bridgeland and the Woodlands Hills, the Howard Hughes Corporation donates $500 to charitable organizations. And you mentioned there are 5 of them. Yes. Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Yes to Youth, Homemade Houston, Montgomery County Food Bank, and Cy-Fair Educational Foundation.
So how were these participants selected, by the way, or give us a little idea of that?
Yes, of course, we go by different organizations, and of course, there's so many worthwhile organizations. But for example, like Leukemia and Lymphoma, we wanted to do some health care, and that provides research for blood cancer cures and improves quality of life for their patients and affected families. Yes to Youth really concentrates on the youth, and that provides Montgomery County youth with crisis counseling, shelter programs, and prevention services. In Homemade Houston, that's more like for the homeless, and that's a charity sponsored by the Greater Houston Builders Association. And what it does, it identifies long-term stable homeless people, and they pair them with like builders, vendors, suppliers to provide homeless shelters. Then we have Montgomery County Food Bank, and that's where you concentrate more on food. And it actually it unites a community to fight hunger. And they provide like about 11 million nutritional meals through a network of 70 pantry partners. And then, of course, we hit education, and that raises funds to increase college access for graduates and support for Cy-Fair ISD. So we hit different areas.
Well, you're certainly covering a lot of bases. And as we think about the Fall Giving Campaign for the month of September, also going back to Howard Hughes Cares, that initiative within your company, it goes on all year long. Would that be correct?
That is correct. We picked several different charities. We really hit a lot of the pillars that I had mentioned, the education, the arts, the economic development, the community organizations. These are so important to us. And Howard Hughes offers quality home builders in our award-winning communities. And HH Cares is just a way that we can give back. It builds community pride, and we're really proud of our philanthropy.
I'd be curious. I don't know that I know the answer to this, but does this reflect going back to Howard Hughes himself? Did he have that element? I don't know a lot of his history, but did he have the element where he gave back with his companies back when he was active?
Yes, he did, and also he was very creative and forward-thinking, and that's how the Howard Hughes Corporation is itself. It is committed to the excellence and the execution of excellence. It's very creative, and this is a way that we can really show our pride and be a community leader.
And that's awesome that that is still carried on. And of course, there are many years ahead. Give us an idea of some of the other things that you're doing there, Lorrie, as directing the PR. And certainly this goes right to your title, Community Relations, relating to the community in very helpful ways with all these initiatives.
Yes, we have, especially during this pandemic time, some of our focuses have been feeding the frontline employees. We have delivered meals to some of the local hospitals here, including Memorial Hermann, St. Luke's, HCA Healthcare in Conroe, and we continue to try to reach out and help in those efforts. Ourselves, we have also donated to Montgomery County Food Bank, the Meals on Wheels, just to name a few. And one of the more exciting ones is we've helped Children's Books on Wheels recently with a book drive for children, as well as a donation. And that way we can help the less fortunate children, especially who don't have access to maybe getting the reading list they need for school, or some donations to help get computers into their organization, the Children's Books on Wheels. So those are just a few to name.
Well, when we think about when you're mentioning books, I go back to that phrase that I used with my own son when he was little. I said, "Leaders are readers," and I said that in a world that's unlike the world today, where the technology was not so enhanced. So sometimes we have to go back to actually reading a book, not on the iPad, but actually a real book that we hold in our hands. I think that's good for children and adults alike, just throwing that in. So
Absolutely.
when we think about, here we are at the end of the year, the fall giving campaign, that's going to be so awesome here as what you're doing to help. But also a corporation like the Howard Hughes Corporation, we're still at the end of the year, coming into the last quarter, as far as planning for what's going to happen next year. Give us a little insight, if you would, Lorrie. Certainly, I'm going to guess that you're already thinking about what you're going to be doing in the PR and community relations in 2021.
Yes. So we have been working on that. And again, we still are going to be committed to about 130 causes of the nonprofit organizations in Bridgeland, the Woodlands Hills, and the Woodlands. We are planning really to hit the different types of organizations as well as these organizations. An area maybe that we will extend on is our scholarship programs. We were proud and excited to give about 14 scholarships. We will continue to do that next year. And we're really going to do an effort, especially at the college level, to focus on students that really need the funds.
And also, let's just remind people again, if they're tuning in late to the segment, we're talking to Lorrie Parise, Director of PR and Community Relations with the Howard Hughes Corporation. Lorrie, the fall giving campaign that is in effect right now, let's tell people what happens when they buy a home in one of the developments.
When you buy a home in one of the Bridgeland or the Woodlands Hills, one of our master plan communities, $500 Howard Hughes will donate to a charity of your choice. There's 5 selections: Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Yes to Youth, Homemade Houston, Montgomery County Food Bank, Cypher Educational Foundation. You can select the charity you want, and we will donate $500. I will say we have had participants also adding to this donation. We have many of our builders, I believe all of them that are participating in our promotion will be making a contribution as well as some of our realtor friends. So we're very excited about that, and we hope to raise a lot of money for these charities who really need the money.
And simply put, I buy a home, for example, in Bridgeland, I get to choose where that $500 goes, right?
That is correct. And we'd love to have you there.
There you go.
If you want to find out more information, go to bridgeland.com or thewoodlandshills.com. The Woodlands Hills is about 13 miles north of the Woodlands, and Bridgeland is located in Cypher in Cypress, Texas. So either one of those, please look and search for information.
And if you're listening outside of the Houston or Texas area, that's pretty much look at Houston as the center of the downtown. We're talking about north of Houston and northwest of Houston. Lorrie Parise, great to talk with you again. And let's tell people the websites again, please.
Yes, bridgeland.com thewoodlandshills.com.
Very nice, and hope to talk to you again soon. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Bill.